Okay, I believe I am live. If you can hear, because I don't want the audio to be an issue because I have a lot of things to tell you, and might I add, a lot of important things to tell you, because we've just witnessed a nice, interesting, juicy press conference by the Indian captain in Rohit Sharma. Let me just quickly show you behind me right now. What you see is the Providence Stadium in Guyana, the venue of India versus England semi-final. And just a short while ago, we had the press conference of the Indian captain. So that is what I'm going to be sharing with you. And as I mentioned, we've had a rather interesting, very juicy press conference by Rohit Sharma. Just let me know in terms of audio. Are you getting is my audio good enough? Are you being able to hear me properly? If you let me know in the live chat, then I know, and then I can begin. Because as I said, you don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss the details of some of the things that Rohit Sharma has said. Okay, all of you saying audio is good. Okay, let me start. The first thing, and I think that is a big admission that Rohit Sharma has made in this press conference. Do you want me to tell you the weather first? Because here, firstly, let me show you that. Nice blue skies, huh? We are less than 24 hours away from the game. Nice blue skies. Everything is cleared up. There was a lot of rain last night. Everything is cleared up. It's looking good. The Indian team is practicing in that ground right behind me. You see the stadium? That's Providence, Guyana, where the Indian team is going to be playing. They were hard at practice. All of them turned up. I'll tell you a bit about practice as well. But just going back to what Rohit Sharma has said. The first time the Indian captain has accepted that there was fear of failure. First time. It's an admission by the captain that India did suffer from fear of failure in previous important World Cup encounters, in previous important World Cup knockout games. Till now, it was mostly analysts and reporters like us who were saying this. Most of the time you could see Indian team doing very, very well in competition. Something used to happen in the semis and final, and the result would not go India's way. And that is what was called fear of failure, that the fear of losing an important game did not allow India to perform at their top level. And this is the analysis we did from outside the ground. For the very first time, Rohit Sharma was asked straight up that you losing important games in ICC tournament, is it because you were unlucky or because there was fear of failure in the team? And this is what Rohit said. He said it's a bit of both. Yes, he accepted there was a bit of fear of failure, and maybe luck also did not go their way. So just to accept that there was a fear of failure, I think that's going a long way, and I don't necessarily see that as a weakness. I see that as a good sign. If you've been following our coverage on Sports Today, this has been the one common theme that I've been reporting from here, that this Indian team is trying to do things differently. There's no guarantee that they will win the World Cup. You can win or lose, but what they're trying to do is not be meek on big days, not let pressure bog them down. They could still not win the World Cup. That's another matter. It's a sport. You can win or lose. But that's one thing I've noticed. And I think this admission by Rohit Sharma is a great way, because first you have to admit to the problem. Once you admit to the problem, only then can you solve it. And I think it's a great start that you've admitted to it, not only as a group. They identified this problem and tried to deal with it, but even to come out openly and say it in a press conference as Rohit Sharma did, I think that's a great thing. I think most of the time you would have had players say, no, what are you saying? Some might even get offended with the question. Let truth be told, I thought when that question was posed to Rohit, that did you have fear of failure, maybe he could have shot back saying, no, you guys are sitting on the outside and saying fear of failure. We've never had that. This would have been a common thing. This would have been the kind of response that a lot of captains I can think of in the past would have come up with. Rohit did not. He was honest enough to accept it, and I think that's a great thing, because you accept it not only as a group, I'm assuming, because he's accepting it, but also as in public. That is the first step to solve the problem. So that's something. Then he goes on to say that they've spoken about it. They don't want to change things. They understand that this is a semi-final, but they're not going to keep talking about it, because the more you keep talking about it, semi-final, final, important game, then more trouble is created with that. So that's another thing that Rohit Sharma mentions about this particular semi-final. There are lots of other juicy things, he said, and I'm going to get to them one by one. The other thing he was asked, what's the one takeaway that you will take from that Australia semi-final? I thought, honestly, listening to him, he might say, that I'm in good form and the team has played well. He did get to that. But first up, his first raw, honest answer was, as you expect with the Rohit Sharma press conference, biggest takeaway from the Australian team. What was the biggest takeaway? Rohit Sharma says, first he smiles, then he says that there is no Australian team in this tournament. And then everyone started laughing. Now when you listen to this statement, it looks like, there is retribution there is anger, there is a feeling of revenge. That's why he said that, what's the biggest takeaway? That Australian team is out. But no, he didn't actually say it like that. Let me convey the sentiment, because I was there in the way he said it. He said it more out of relief than anger or resentment towards the Australian team, or even feeling any sort of retribution or revenge. He didn't say it with that intention. He said it more lightheartedly, but more in terms of expressing his relief that there is no Australian team. And you can't blame him. Remember, they have been on the receiving end of this Australian team time and time again. WTC final, 50 over World Cup final. You come so close, and then once again it's the Australian team that comes and takes away the cup from under their noses. So I think it was more relief in which he said that. Then of course he went on to add that, see, Australia is such a good team, that's why they've been so successful at this level. So them not being there is the biggest takeaway from that game. He spoke about his form and how he said, I always wanted to play an inning like that, really push the opposition on the back foot, show this intent, and he was happy that he was able to execute exactly what he had been planning. Because a lot of time we keep criticizing him, kept saying, oh, this is not the way, why doesn't he bat for very long? And I think that's the statement that he wanted to give. He had been trying, failed on a few occasions, but succeeded in that Australia game. So he spoke about that. So that's the next important point that Rohit Sharma said in the press conference, about no Australian team in this tournament. Okay, now to the third point, and this is a big controversy that has been happening. If you've been watching social media, if you've been keeping a track of all the controversies that are happening at the moment, one of them is of course that of what Inzamam ul Haq had said. Inzamam ul Haq, for those of you who don't know, recently said in a program in Pakistan that how is it that Indian bowlers are getting the ball to reverse swing. He especially spoke about Arshdeep, that the bowler was reverse swinging after 12-13 overs. How can you reverse swing? The ball needs to get really old for it to start reverse swinging. How is the Indian team doing it? Pretty much saying that the ICC should look at the Indian bowlers. They may be tampering with the ball. Those are very serious allegations that Inzamam ul Haq levelled against the Indian team. Rohit Sharma was asked about that. He said, and I loved his curt and direct answer on that, Rohit Sharma. He said, you need to see the conditions. You are playing on harder surfaces here. The pitches are really rough, which ensures the ball gets rough much quicker. Then there are drier conditions, there's a lot of heat. All these things put together, the ball will obviously start reverse swinging by the 12th-15th over. And then he said, it's not only us. Look at other teams, they're also starting to get reverse swing after the 12-15 overs. That's because the conditions are like that. He said, this is not Australia, this is not England, where you have lush green outfield, the pitches aren't that rough, that the ball will not reverse swing, and that it'll take maybe 20, 25, 30 overs before it starts reverse swinging. Here he said, rougher conditions, hotter conditions, the ball will start reversing, everyone else is doing it. And so why are you only pointing fingers at the Indian team? And I think that was a very valid point that he made. And then he went on to say that sometimes people need to, he said it in Hindi, kabhi-kabhi logo ko dimag khol ke bhi sochna chahiye. He said it in as many words. And I think the message was loud and clear. And Rohit let everyone know what he was talking about in terms of the allegations levelled by the Pakistan team. So these are just certain things that Rohit Sharma spoke about in the press conference. I give you a bit of an insight about the Indian team's practice session. As I said, they had a full-fledged practice session. Everyone turned up. Interestingly, Rohit Sharma came but did not bat, did not do any nets. Virat Kohli was there, Rishabh Pant, everyone was doing. But Rohit Sharma did not bat at all in the nets, and I'm not surprised with that. The kind of form that he's shown, why does he need to bat? I think he's not trying to complicate things. He's in good form, so he's trying to keep that good form going. and that's why he was not batting in the nets. The rest of the batters, of course, hard at work. I must point out about Virat Kohli here, not amongst the runs, but in terms of his commitment at practice sessions, is always turning out. Today also had an extended practice session. Rishabh Pant did the same. Akshar Patel, Ravindra Jadeja, all of them, Shivam Dube, all of them batting in the nets. That gives me an idea or kind of indication that India may not be tinkering with their playing 11. You pretty much see the same playing 11 that you had earlier. That playing 11 is going to continue in this particular game as well. That's just an idea. And the other thing that I noticed, that usually, practice sessions, Indian players, when they come out, batters, they mix caution with aggression. So certain time, they're playing defensive strokes or trying to time the ball for fours, finding gaps. They discuss. The bowler says, okay, I've got this field, and they try and find gaps. They do all of that, and then in the middle they do a bit of hitting as well. So mix and match. This time, one thing that I noticed amongst all Indian batters, they were all trying to go for big hits. No matter the delivery, no matter where it's bowled, they were all attacking. They were just playing big shots. So the focus of today's practice session was to play big shots. It's not a very big ground that you see behind me. The boundaries aren't very big. So hitting big shots was the approach, and if all of you are thinking that Virat is not amongst runs and so he's now going to change his approach, maybe not great batting conditions, so play a bit more carefully, run a ball and get some form back, no. Again, something that Rohit mentioned, every player has been told about their role, and this is interesting. Rohit said that he's spoken to every player personally. So he sat with each player and spoken to them personally as to what their role is, and he's defined that role exactly. Every player has a role and he's defined it exactly, and they're executing. And I think most batters have been told, chala ke khelo, you play like that. Though he goes on to say that, see, I trust their experience. There's a reason we've got an experienced team here, because they've been in tough situations. They have an idea of what their role is going to be, but at the rest of the time I trust them to judge. Like if they know that the pitch is a certain way, how they need to adapt, it's up to them. He says, I don't try and feed them everything. I don't tell them exactly what you're supposed to do. Those are experienced players, they'll figure out on their own. So I allow them to think. And he said for bowling as well, and I think that's a good success mantra for any captain. He said, I don't like to give too much information, not tell them about every ball, where to bowl. No, they're experienced players, bowlers or batters, they know exactly what to do in which situation, they'll do it. Only when they are not following a particular plan or the larger picture that the team has adapted to or wants to adapt to and follow, if you're not following the larger template, then he says I tell them, but overall they have an idea and allow their experience to do the talking. I give them a free hand. That's his captaincy style as well that came across. So those are some of the important things that that Rohit Sharma mentioned in the press conference. I asked him in that press conference whether anything has changed from 2022 to 2024, because it's a repeat of that same semi-final. He said no, not much has changed. We're pretty much the same team, and it's not that we have decided that we're going to blindly attack everything. No, we will still play according to a situation, and he used the word, he said we want to be a smart team. We want to be a smart cricketing team that plays according to the situation. So that was pretty much what Rohit Sharma said about. Thank you. Yeah, there are lots of comments from you guys in terms of our coverage, and really glad you're enjoying it. Keep giving us a lot of love. But yeah, overall it's been a great experience, and all I can tell you that that you're going to have a game for sure. It's clear skies now. Rain is expected a little later, but the drainage facility here is excellent. I've explained that in a different video. Do check that out as well. So most likely you're going to get a good game, a good semi-final. He was also asked, Rohit Sharma, that do you think India has an advantage that they have got a game in Guyana? It was already decided that India will play in the semi-final in Guyana. He said, no, I don't think so. And he says that nowadays conditions have become normal for everyone because players play T20 leagues around the globe. So he said a lot of English players are also used to such conditions. A lot of CPL matches happened here. Some of the Indian grounds are kind of with similar conditions, and he said the English players also know these conditions very well. So to say that there is an advantage with one team and the other, he says that's not true. And no reserve day, he was asked. He said reserve day, he said whatever it is, it's fine, it's for both teams. He said the only thing I'm worried about that because there's an extra 250 minutes this time as buffer time. So he said I don't want the game to finish that late in the evening because we have another flight to catch, because 27th this match will get over, and 29th is the final. There's hardly any gap there, so they have to take the flight on the same day that they play the semi-final. So he said, I just hope we don't miss the flight, the chartered flight. He said that's the only worry I have. Other than that, no worries. No. So yeah, that's the situation of this Indian team. Once again, they are in a semi-final. It's another knockout. That's been India's problem area. But remember, last semi-final hurdle they crossed in the 50-over World Cup. That time final was the issue. So he said, we don't want to be talking about this semi-final thing. That's what puts added pressure. He says players know about it, but if we keep talking about it, then that fear of failure that I mentioned right at the start, that also comes. Pranav, I can see your comment. You say you have sent me a message on Instagram. I'll check it out. I will. I don't get too much time to see Instagram because most of the time we are running around, giving you guys all the update, and so that's why I don't get too much time to check my message on Instagram. But I will check that out as well. A lot of you asking me about the weather. You asked me 10-10 is the minimum that you need, but I think you may get 20-20 full game because a lot of buffer time is there. Chances of rain has also reduced. It was 60, 70, 80%. It's now come down to 30%. And the drainage facilities here are outstanding. It's not going to be like Florida, where you had 4 hours of bright sunshine like this and you still could not finish a game. That's not going to happen here. Even if it rains, the drainage facilities are excellent. Within 1 hour you can start. Last night 12 hours it's rained non-stop, and in 1 hour, only 1 hour of no rain, and they made the ground ready for the Indian team to practice. The Indian team practiced, as I mentioned earlier as well. Great press conference by Rohit Sharma. The team's looking good. I saw the practice session, all of them trying big hits. So it's looking all good. You know your one-stop destination Sports Today. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. And give us a like if you're enjoying our content. Give us a like on the video for all the effort that we're putting in. It's been crazy traveling, by the way. It's been one of the most brutal tours I've done. I forget, every day we're on a different island. This is now after many days we've got one extra day, so yeah, soaking in. In terms of, I know a lot of you asking about the playing 11. My gut tells me, looking at the team practicing, you're not going to see any changes in the playing 11. Not changing. By the way, another thing that Rohit's typical binda style, he was asked, you are traveling with 4 spinners. Now looking back, what was the idea you want? He says, "Are team travel with 5 fast bowlers? You don't say anything. We're traveling with 4 spinners. People have an issue." So again, everyone started laughing. He was in a good mood, the humorous mood that he quite often shows. So good press conference. There's going to be a English press conference as well. I'll bring you the latest update from that too in an hour's time maybe. Also the big preview of this game. I will do my preview as usual, and you guys have given it a lot of love. Match reports and our preview that I'm doing live from the ground. So that wholesome preview in terms of tactics, in terms of what each team could do, who holds the edge, I will also do that. That's going to come maybe in a couple of hours from now. So check that out, guys. Thank you so much for your company. For the moment, take care. Bye bye. See you soon.